This is an iHeart podcast.
Hello, from Wonder Media Network, I'm Jenny Kaplan, and this is Womanica. This month we're talking about outsiders, women who marched to the beat of their own drum and rejected stereotypes about what women should be. They're aesthetic pioneers, norm benders, and often one of the only women in their field. Inside a small house in northern Vermont, there's a woman who sits in a swivel chair, head down over her drafting table. The floorboards under her feet are painted lime green. She has a worn cover of Harriet the Spy hanging above her desk, an homage to her childhood inspiration. The room around her is flanked with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. The light from her desk lamp illuminates rows and rows of hand-drawn panels, tiny worlds inked to life by hand. She's one of the most influential graphic memoirists of our time, but growing up, she didn't feel powerful or visible. Please meet Alison Bechdel. Alison was born in 1960 in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, a small conservative town. Both of her parents were teachers and her father a part-time funeral director. Their house was full of antiques and secrets. Growing up, Alison found a specific fascination with drawing. It allowed her to escape from a childhood that pushed her to the outskirts. She did not conform to gender norms, cropping her hair short and befriending her boy classmates. She attended high school in a small rural town where the pressure to conform forced Alison into a shell. But when she would get home, it was holding her fountain pen that made her feel the most like herself. Alison loved comic books, but none of the stories she read or pictures she saw reflected the internal tension that she was experiencing. She might not have known who she was, but she knew what she wanted to do. Alison hauled her confusion all the way to Oberlin, Ohio, where she attended undergrad. On campus, she felt like an outcast. She avoided her classmates, spending the majority of her time at the college bookstore or curled up in the back of movie theaters, doing what she did best, escaping into the stories of others. At the time, she identified as asexual, apolitical, and asocial. But that Oberlin bookstore was a turning point for Alison. This was the point when Alison began identifying as a lesbian. In 1983, she launched a comic strip called Dykes to Watch Out For, a bold, smart, unapologetically queer slice of life that gave voice to a community the mainstream media ignored. It ran for 25 years. And tucked into one of those early comic strips was a side joke that would gain monumental traction. A test to see whether women were meaningfully represented in movies. You might have heard of it, the Bechdel Test. The test introduced a rule. In order to pass, a movie has to feature at least two women who must have a conversation with one another about a subject other than a man. The Bechdel test became a feminist academic term taught across universities. It has gained international recognition as a simple test for gender bias. In 2006, Alison published Fun Home, a Family Tragicomic, a graphic memoir that traced her coming out alongside the death of her father, who passed away suddenly after being outed as gay himself. Fun Home was raw, intimate, and groundbreaking in its subject. It wasn't just about wrestling with queerness, it was about the quiet damage of secrets and family mystery. The book became a Broadway musical in 2015, winning 5 Tony Awards: Best Musical, Best Actor, Best Direction, Best Book, and Best Score. Since then, Bechdel has continued creating. Her follow-up memoir, Are You My Mother?, continued her lifelong project of turning the private into the public. Alison's profound power comes from her vantage point, observing, questioning, drawing in the margins, from the margins. Alison Bechdel currently lives in Bolton, Vermont with her partner. Through a lifetime of self-discovery, Alison has kept the fountain pen in steady grip, allowing her to make sense of the world, her world, one panel at a time. All month, we're talking about outsiders. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Liz Kaplan, my favorite sister and co-creator. As always, we'll be taking a break for the weekend. Talk to you on Monday.
This is an iHeart podcast.